So how did we all get here? This is how we're here today.
Hey, if you have a spot for me, I'd be interested in presenting at the 2027 AI Symposium.
Sure, I can check on that for you.
Yeah, Jack.
How about in a few weeks instead?
Yeah.
Wait, I can use generative AI to do this no problem. I hit tighter deadlines at work all the time.
I'm going to let you hear it play so you hear the music actually fades out nicely at the end. I just didn't fill the video, so. All right. So we're going to get about 10 minutes per tool, but I think that'll be enough time to show you kind of what you can do, and I'm going to be quizzing the audience for ideas, because even in that short time per tool, we can generate some stuff, and you can see how fast it is to work with each of them. I am going to cover security considerations so that you don't go to your work and just start using these without checking with your IT first. I don't want you to say, oh yeah, David said just use whatever. No. We'll cover 6 tools, capabilities, including what they do not do well, and Q&A for each one. I did not use ChatGPT in this presentation, but I know it's the most common, and I've heard so many questions about it this week. I'm going to show a few real quick tips you can even use with free ChatGPT that, like, even people that have been using it for a couple years don't do, so should help you out. In the last 3 years, I have over 5,000 hours using these tools hands-on, both for work and for personal interest. I've been tracking exponential technology and AI trends since 2009. Had my own software consulting firm for 4 years, focusing on small teams. I have not publicly spoken in about 20 years, so I am nervous. But a lot of my work was, hey, we have 2 people in this department. Can you make them perform like 7 people? And that's what my experience is in, and AI has made it way better. Currently, I'm at Onyx Aerospace. I lead their AI adoption for technical systems, coordinating their teams, research, and organizational processes. My perspective is, what can you actually do? So it's great to look at where it'll be in a year, but what can the tools do today? And one point I want to make that's not on here, 3 weeks ago when I laid out the tools I was going to use, I dropped 2 of those and added 1. It's already changed in 3 weeks. So with AI, you have to be ready just for every month what's out there. All right, security. General safe practices. Don't put any proprietary data, trade secrets, confidential business information. All of these tools we're using say they protect your data, but you have to assume whatever I put in there could become public info at some point. IP, you have to protect it. You all know this, whether it's your own business, government organizations. Speaking of the government, ITAR, EAR, other regulations, none of these tools you can probably use for those. So why am I bringing them up? Because so many of us are in government. Because you still have things like training videos or presentations where you can do part of the work in these tools. And you don't need to ignore them for that, but use them as you can. The safest thing, just talk to your IT and cybersecurity. I think we have some cybersecurity here, but you know, they're nice. They want you to be safe, and they'll give you answers on the tools. Pretty much every slide on here will say reference slide 4. So for every tool, just remember these. Some things that others have gone into, agents, API, local solutions, those are very important, but I just wanted to cover what you can spend $20 on and use. So. First up is Claude. Claude is by far, I'd say, the best writer at the moment. If you want to put out an email, a proposal, analyze documents, Sonnet 4.5 and Opus 4.5 are amazing. So last year, Opus 4.1 went in test against a group of human experts, and it reached parity with the human experts in a lot of areas. 4.5 is beyond that, but we don't have the metrics on it yet. And to show how I cheated to make this, we needed a bio for this presentation. So I literally gave Claude a link to all the other speakers' bios. And Claude knows about me. And I said, write a bio about me in their format using what you know about me. And so I will show you. Yeah. Yeah. So under Claude, under settings, you can say search and reference chats. And what that does, if you turn that on, then every chat you have with Claude, it can actually pull from that memory. So I've talked to it about the things I can talk about work, like what I do, what my background, what my history is. And so it automatically just pulled from all of that. And I don't know if you can read it in the back, but several times I'd mentioned each year like how much I'd worked that year. And I didn't even know at this point I'd done over 5,000 hours, but you know, when I went into it more, it was like, hey, you did 1,500 hours this year, 2,000 that year, and so on. And was able to just give me a little breakdown of my experience, which was amazing. And yeah. So from the very beginning, you know, I could have just used this probably for my bio, but one of the most important things with these models is keep iterating and just talk to it like you would an employee. So I just straight up told it, hey, good start, but I would probably do this instead. And just so you can see, there's quite a lot of back and forth. I'm not going to go into every detail on how to prompt, but it's an iterative process. Treat it like a human that you're working with, and you'll get more out of it. Like, I have industrial recycling experience. It tried to say I had leadership in the manufacturing sector, so I had to correct it. Like, I'm trying not to. Claude is overly nice sometimes, so you want to make sure you're not lying if you just use what it says. And I am a fast reader, so that helps, but even if you're not, something I don't see people doing with AI is actually reading what it outputs. That's how you get the most out of these tools. If you're just copying and pasting, you're gonna fail. But even if it makes mistakes, as you're reading it, you're studying it, you're conversing, you're gonna learn more about the topic you're working on. And next up, once it gave me the bio, I also asked it to give me the text to tell you guys this video would be about. So I took that text, fed it in here, and I said, now I need to make a video. Can you give me basically what I should make the video about and how I should construct it? And we had a whole conversation where it started breaking down the whole script, the time I should spend on each, the best way to construct all that. I could come up with that myself, but a key point, I'm lazy. I like to admit that. There are parts of work that I like. I want to focus on that. The parts of work that frustrate me, I don't want to spend time on. So if a tool can help me knock out the whole workflow, then I'll just let the tool do that part and I'll focus on what I'm good at.
You mentioned Claude learned about your memory.
Mhm.
You've been doing this for a few years. So did that memory build and persist across like 4.1 to 4.5?
So they only added memory in about 4.1 or 3.7, I think. And honestly, I don't know if it pulled from earlier. And I didn't even turn on memory for about 6 months. So a lot of times I'll go back and forth on settings to see how it does. But from what I understand, as soon as you turn on memory, it can just reference any other chats in your history. I can't make this bigger, so I'll just say, for the type Claude I used for this, it's $20 a month. I hear a lot of people at these conferences say, oh, it's $20 a month, I can't afford that. I'm like, well, how much did the Symposium cost? That's like 3 years of subscription. It's a Netflix subscription, and you get this amazing tool that can help you knock out, even if you're saving half an hour of work each week, that I think it's worth it. If you're using it heavily, Max is definitely worth it. Once you get up to the $200 a month subscription, you can basically work 8 hours a day, multiple tabs. Claude is, I'm gonna jump around some, at coding. I know you guys have all talked about it. Claude's coding abilities are amazing. There's so much stuff that if I need a simple tool, I can knock out in 5 minutes and have it working on my desktop, just a couple prompts. There are team and enterprise options, and something else I'm gonna go into for each of these tools, outputs are yours to use commercially, especially if Claude doesn't like to use your data for training purposes. They actually like to keep more control over how they train their models than just using user inputs. So Claude is one that doesn't really feed in all the stuff you're talking about into their training model. Caveat, you still don't know that for sure. None of us can look into Anthropic stuff, so you just have to understand that. All of these prices were accurate a week ago, but you want to go onto the websites too. I think Claude is one of the most probably well understood. It's basically an option to ChatGPT. So any other questions about Claude before we get to the other ones? Nope.
Do you mostly use it like this or the command line?
Honestly, I prefer the chat interface online. I know you can tie in Claude Code and use the command line and all that, but I'm not going to go into it here, but when I'm using it for more in-depth coding, sometimes I'll still use it in the chat interface, and I'll just bring the outputs into another source. Like we've talked about Cursor and Replit and all that. It's really easy just to copy your code base or save out a script and move it to others. Because some of the other guys have mentioned it, but you don't want to get too far into your context. So very often I'll do 1 or 2 prompts and take that output and work from there. So that's why I like the chat interface is I'll start a project, and if I'm working on code, I might have 20 different chats within it with 1 or 2 prompts each and just taking that output into something else. I'm very much a power user in the public, easy-to-use tools. So these guys are great into the more software dev part. I'm more in the what can you log into on your laptop and do from home. So, next up, I use Gemini. Jack covered a bunch of Gemini use earlier on. I could have used it for the same thing I use Claude for generating my bio, everything, but I wanted to showcase, I used it here for photo compositing, adding text bubbles, and image enhancement. So I focused more on a tool called Nano Banana. So again, being lazy, I took Space Camp's image that they generated for this conference, and I just said, change it to, say, Generative AI Workshop. And in a few seconds, Nano Banana changed it just like I requested. I had it start moving the dots around, added my name. Thanks for attending. We haven't gotten there yet. The date from the video. And also used it to take my little headshot from the conference, change me to a standard cartoon, different expressions for the video. Love this one. And Gemini and Nano Banana is very good at text. A lot of image generators still are not. Usually ChatGPT and Nano Banana are the best for if you just want to add text straight up to something. So if you're doing, I like this cartoon look because it looks like the pamphlets in the airplane for a safety brief. Everybody's comfortable with it. So if you're doing your own little tutorial booklets for safety at work, you can see Gemini is great for that.
So were all of those the 3 to 4 second clips that you had requested, and then you took them out to kind of add them to the overall video, I guess?
Yeah, so I generated the still images, and then next up we'll show how I
understood.
how I took these to video.
Can you modify one of those like live?
Yeah, yeah.
Just so people get a feel for what
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
you know, how long does it take, and
So when we talk about context windows, you'll see I had this one generated earlier, but I fed it back into the same chat along with what I wanted it to say. Like I wanted to make sure it had context for the exact image. So I'm just...
So you could take a photo of him right now and filter it?
Yeah, yeah. And for right now, let's say add a cartoon. Text bubble saying, this is fine. If you want to try these, Gemini actually gives you some free credits for Pro as soon as you sign up. So you can only do a few images, you can only do a few chats, but this is one that you can try out for free just logging in with your Google account. The account I'm using has, it's a $20 a month account, and I've rarely been able to run out of image generations. So, yeah. And we can also go generate the above image as an editorial style photo. This is one that sometimes it can nail about half the time. You can give it a cartoon and say, hey, make it a realistic photograph. Half the time it's amazing, half the time we might get a picture of a forest. But like I said, I want to show you guys, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You just have to play. Like you're going to see, we're going to play in a few seconds and find out, is this possible, is it not? And if I'm on my own, it's 15 seconds of my own time. Right now I'm wasting about 30 of you guys' time, so, but you can see.
Do you suggest changing one thing at a time or doing multiple prompts?
Currently with Nano Banana, I like to change one thing at a time.
I was teeing that up for you.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. The more you try to change at a time, the more confused AI models will get. Some of them can handle it now. They're getting way better at it. Like we're going to get to Midjourney in a second. You can throw a dozen things at it and it can keep up with it now, but your mileage will vary. So that's,
Okay, it's close.
yeah, that's not bad. It needs more gray and
You need a tie.
yeah. All right.
Does this have the ability to add like a fire in the background?
Oh yeah, we can, let's see, set everything on fire except for me, please. Let's see. I was just about to say that you usually get worse results saying please. So it's generally better to treat it, how can I say this nicely? Be direct with the AI. That's the easiest and best way to say it.
I forget what number it was on the, yeah, that gross amount, like how many tokens are wasted in a week's time?
Oh yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. And it depends on what you're doing. Like if you're asking it to write you an apology to your boss, you might throw in some pleases because it will change the tone of the conversation slightly. So,
The amount of integration that Nano Banana knows are a lot of pixels, ridiculous. I mean, it's just part of the text flow.
all right. So we have the full "This is fine" meme now, and I hope nobody sues me when this goes on YouTube. Yeah.
We hope the presentation doesn't go that bad.
Yeah. If it goes that way, we are within fire code, so everybody's good. One thing Google Gemini does do is it can integrate with all your other Google products. So if you want to tie it into your sheets, your documents, it has a way easier time. Claude, GPT, all have those connections as well, but you'll find that working with a tool in its native environment, I mean, they just have a leg up on the competition. You know, it is Google, so it's going to integrate well with Google tools. For the cost, it's a little bit cheaper than Claude. Free, like I said, you actually get a decent amount of usage. If you haven't tried it, sign in with your Google account and just play with it, see what you can come up with. I'm using $20 a month. Even for their high tiers, it's about $50 a month. And Workspace and Enterprise, they have cheap accounts. Outputs are generally usable commercially, and they say Workspace data is not used for training, but please verify and remember slide 4. So, the ones I really wanted to get into are ones I don't see as many people using. So Midjourney. Has anybody used Midjourney? Awesome. So Midjourney is an insanely good image generating tool and for video. So I used it to generate all the videos that you saw in that, from the transitions to everything except for the lip syncing I used Midjourney for. What I'm not going to show you is my actual Midjourney account I used to make those. I reached out to Midjourney, said, hey, I'm doing a workshop. I do not want to show all of my prompts and work content. And Midjourney is amazing. They have almost 20 million subscribers, and they put me in touch with their head of accounts. And he said, sure, just send me the email and we won't flag you for violating terms of service. So they gave me a new account to kind of show you guys how to use it. And this is one that I really wanted to demonstrate in real time and to kind of show you how powerful Midjourney is. So I'm using their standard model right now, and I'm just going to tell it to generate a person. Nothing in here. And what makes Midjourney powerful is it's not what it does on the baseline, it's how you can customize it. So it has something called mood boards, and I created a cartoon mood board where all I did was upload the images I made earlier. And if I go back to create, I can choose cartoon presentation and tell it person. And while that's working, I made another one based off the images for the space and rocket. You'll notice it doesn't copy the style exactly, but it starts getting a lot closer. And the more you customize your mood boards, the more you do your style references and the other features, basically, a few seconds of work, you can start customizing the images to match whatever you want.
Wasn't Midjourney out of Discord for a while?
It was.
And now they're on their own.
Yeah, so you can work in Discord or on the
Oh,
website.
really?
Yeah. And we're going to do something fun here. It has a feature called Describe, where I'm just going to drag in the image, and Midjourney is going to analyze it and give me a prompt on how to recreate that image using Midjourney. So now it gave me 4 separate prompts, and I'm just going to click on one to choose one, and you'll see Midjourney is, if you can't read it in the back, I'll read it for you. It's very bad at reading text. So it's saying that it says declares October, locator ends January 2025. It makes no sense. But it's not like it's hard to go in here and just type December 2025. So we can just reuse the prompt Midjourney gave us, the images that match what we want it to look like, and let's see what it gives us. And this is pretty standard with Midjourney. You'll see some that are not quite there. But usually out of those 4 generating a couple sets, all of a sudden you get something that's quickly workable for you. And all we have to do is hit animate. So like I said before, I'm not going to spell out exactly how you might use this for work, but you can probably see, like, if you have a style at work that you already use, if you have a graphics template, work with your graphics department, and if you can get reference images, this makes presentations so fast to do. Midjourney also has edit features to where you can put in one image and tell it to convert to a different style. So you want to do mock-ups, concept art. All of that can be done in, well, you see how long it takes because you're all waiting here with me. But so this was without giving any directions. It was just asking it to animate it as it was and come up with ideas on its own. You can go in there and tell it pan left, pan right, transition to this. We can take any of these images and use it as a starting frame and set another as an ending frame, and it forces it to go from one image to the next. That's how I did the opening video transitions, was I took all the images that Gemini generated and just had it start and end and work between the two. So that's what the whole intro video was generated with. So while that's generating, Midjourney has something interesting where if your company makes over $1 million in revenue, it requires the Pro or Mega subscription, $60 or $120 a month. You'd want to go with that anyway, because those are the only plans that offer you what's called stealth mode, and that keeps your images from being shared anywhere online. So you can get a cheaper subscription, but it automatically puts it onto their website so anybody can search and see it. So if you are generating concept art or pamphlets at work, you want to go $60 or up a month and turn on stealth mode so nobody can see it.
So can you see the Midjourney site where the,
Yeah.
is one of the things I do there is, I'm not as creative.
Yeah.
And sometimes I can take something someone else did and
Yeah.
go, oh, Oh, okay, that's kind of what I'm looking for.
So Midjourney is generally very safe about what they put online, and usually stuff doesn't come on there. So I am going to click on Explore, and we'll just see what's on the front page. Yeah, this will be recorded, so I'm not going to click there. Midjourney is yeah, Midjourney is very good about monitoring their content. So they try to make sure that people are using it for safe things. You're not going to go on there and see not safe for work content 99.99% of the time. People try to abuse it, so there is once in a blue moon something will pop up on Explore. And generally users will report it, the mods will actually change the model so that can't be up there anymore. It's one reason I like Midjourney for work is they want it to be safe, professional, usable. So you don't go on there and find a bunch of trash that's gonna make your business look bad. I don't wanna take a chance live in case it's that 0.01% on there. But you can see for an example, the starting and ending frame, it's, even without giving it instructions, it gave some pretty good little transitions here.
Is there a length of video that they stick with?
So the starting video is 5.1 seconds, but the cool thing is you can extend any video and you can get up to almost 30 seconds in length in a single video. It does start to deteriorate the further it goes. So what I recommend is, let's say we think this is the greatest thing ever. We're going to select extend manually, and then we can give it a new ending frame here. So let's go, just select that, submit. And so if you give it a second ending reference frame, it does a lot better job keeping it the same style that you want. If you just tell it to keep going on its own, the way image generation works, it's going to get a little more confused the further it goes. They're getting better, but it's safest just to put in another image for reference. You can't control in Midjourney the length though. So you'll see it's adding 3.7 seconds this time. It'll kind of add 4 the next, 4 the next. So. While we're waiting, any ideas for an image? We've done rocket raccoons, or any capabilities you guys are curious about in Midjourney.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
In a presentation, could you add animation on a slide or something?
Yeah, like you're talking about, oh.
Short animation, like a moving character or something.
Yeah, yeah. Let's do, now I wish I had my actual account so I could pull up some of those that I'd made. So let's do the, no, I'm not doing the Explore page. What's that? Yeah. What's that? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's a legally distinct raccoon.
Yeah, yeah, legally distinct raccoon. Yeah. So we'll go in. So let's say we wanted this raccoon to be your, oh, and you'll see, you probably couldn't read that back there. If Midjourney even thinks you're putting up some kind of other person's IP, it'll put a warning out there and won't publish your stuff publicly. You can still use it, but it tries to let you know, hey, we think you might be copying something that somebody else owns, so be careful commercially. So this might look a little bit too much like Guardians of the Galaxy or something like that, but it'll give you a little heads up to check with your legal team before you start selling something. So for yours to use something in a presentation, like what kind of example are you thinking?
Just make a face or something move, go from a frown to a smile. That's
Yeah,
real
yeah.
simple, but I'm talking about like a moving character walking in a circle.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll tell it, walk off screen. And the Midjourney community is great. You can find a lot of documentation online, but their Discord will actually work with you really well. So there's all kind of little tips. Midjourney is a lot more, you learn a lot of little code words to use in it. So if I add this -- raw, it tells it to do exactly what I said, not to do anything else. And usually that works, so we'll see how that does. Yeah. So let's see. So here's the extended video from earlier where it's out to 9 seconds now. And there's a raccoon kind of bouncing around.
It does look legally distinct.
Yeah. One of the things about Midjourney, the more you use it, and it's not something I could show in the time we have, any image style you can think of, it can pull off. If you want to replicate claymation style animation, if you want to do really smooth, if you want to make, South Park looking style animations, you can get it to output matching whatever images you put in there. It just takes a little bit of work.
So basically, AI tools are gonna be like our video streaming running at 19 subscriptions.
Yeah. And a little tidbit from Midjourney itself, they found out the hardest part in training their models was teaching it what things were. So an example they gave is to teach it what a corgi was, they had to show it 1 million images of corgis from every angle so that when somebody typed in corgi, it would know how to generate the dog you were thinking about. To teach it to do a line drawing of a corgi took about 12 images of line drawings. It could learn that style faster than it could learn the subject that it was doing. So they could show it 12 oil paintings, 12 video renders, and it can copy that style. So a lot of people are like, oh no, maybe Midjourney is stealing my type of art. And they really aren't training it so much on specific artists as certain styles. And it's, I give you that.
Artist name, and then they do a very good rendition of their type of art.
You can, yes, yeah.
What was it, Studio Ghibli, I think, was one of the bigger
Yeah.
noisemakers in it. Yeah.
Studio Ghibli, I think Disney still has a lawsuit with them. So again, we get into the IP and law, which there were some lawyers that gave very good talks on that. I am not covering that subject. So from Midjourney, what I used to do the lip sync video, and probably what's been most helpful. Yes.
Can I see the description for Midjourney?
Yeah. There you go. You're welcome. All good? Cool. 11 Labs, and I do appreciate you saying what you did a second ago. There's a lot of moments in AI. It's good to read up on how they're being trained, what they've used, be aware of that. 11 Labs, we can get into some risks that it has. With just a few minutes of your recorded voice, it can start duplicating your voice really well. So you can imagine how that could be used by bad actors. But let's say you have somebody nervous about giving a presentation in front of a bunch of people. You can also generate a totally coherent and clear speech. We've used that several times when like a safety briefing was needed to be given to 200 people. And you want to make sure all the words are conveyed clearly and that everybody can understand it. Well, just have 11 Labs read it. And for that, it's simple as, I don't know what they're going to say, but I guarantee these are clean. We can just click a preview.
As we are liberated from our own fear,
a single rose can be my garden. Our distrust is very expensive.
Yeah. There are hundreds of pre-made voices, or you can go in and create your own voices, or even upload your own voice and have it recreate that. And generating these, what's a phrase? What do we want to make the AI say? What's that?
Make my day.
Make my day. Do we want to give it an attitude, like
A surly pirate.
surly? I honestly haven't tried pirate, so let's try surly first. Let's see.
Make my day.
Not quite.
Make my day.
All right. Let's see. Surly pirate. I don't think this is going to work, but this will be awesome if it does.
Make my day.
Nope.
Make my day.
It's not quite as good as Clint Eastwood or anybody else. I've done up to 5,000 tokens at one time. It can keep going. What I found is if you do more than one long paragraph, there's a good chance of it messing up a few words in the middle of it. So I usually keep it to 3 or 4 sentences at a time for it to read. So we can, let's go in here, generate a safe paragraph for a live demo of text to voice generation. Yeah.
In the field of acoustic engineering, the transition from symbolic text to natural speech requires a sophisticated synthesis of linguistic rules and digital signal processing.
In the field of acoustic engineering, the transition from symbolic text to natural speech requires a sophisticated synthesis of linguistic rules and digital signal processing.
Can you speed it up or slow it down?
In the field of acoustic engineering.
So inside 11 Labs, you cannot, so it depends on the version you're using. So with the current alpha, not so much. But if we go back to version 2 that's live, we can, let's crank it up a lot faster. Make it very variable and very exaggerated style.
In the field of acoustic engineering, the transition from symbolic text to natural speech requires a sophisticated synthesis of linguistic rules and digital signal processing. In the field of acoustic engineering, the transition from symbolic text to natural speech.
Yeah. Yeah. So a little bit of playing. It's really easy to get natural sounding audio. You'll notice some of those didn't sound as good as others. You know, I might look through a dozen voices before I find one that'll be good for my purpose, or you can take the time to train it on your own voice. The new feature they have is
Train other people's voices?
with their with their permission. That's where it gets into the yeah. That's where it gets into the bad actors I mentioned earlier. You can see how technology like 11 Labs could quickly, personal tip, I let all my elderly family members know if they get a phone call that says it's from me with my number and it sounds like my voice and I'm saying something weird, I tell them hang up and call me back directly. Because there have already been cases of people's voices being cloned, their phone number being cloned, and you know, it's not good. You can. There is. I'm not going to go through and set that, but. Yeah, yeah.
Finished with this.
Gregory, where's that?
Right there.
Oh,
Gregory.
yeah. Yeah. Let's see what.
Tief im verwunschenen Mooswald
Oh.
lebte ein alter Bär. Sein Name war Gregor Gu.
So 11 Labs is good at a lot of other languages. Have tested out with Italian and Japanese so far. Mileage may vary. Some of the voices are actually better at some languages than others.
I saw something fascinating recently. A guy was doing a large virtual webinar for several hours, and he
show that he was presenting in English, but over there in Germany and over there in Shanghai.
Oh, yeah.
So his film
Yeah, you can do real-time translation. I'm not going as in-depth. That is another good thing about getting these views of what's possible, is anything that you see possible that I'm showing now, know that there's already more powerful things that you can do with your own tools or APIs or agents. These are the things you can do literally with, I think my account on 11 Labs costs $5, and I can generate half a novel's worth of audio each month off of that. So just think what you're doing if you're actually putting in the work and building out custom tools and all of that. So next, I'm not going to generate any of these live, but this is how I did the voices and video in my video, where I took, you can just click on a button when you generate audio and tell it to make a video from it. And you just give it one picture and it'll generate from there.
Wait, I can use generative AI to do this no problem. I hit tighter deadlines at work all the time.
It took it about 30 seconds to generate that. Obviously not my voice. I was just doing it quickly, but.
Have you tried that with your voice, like superposing it over the videos, or I guess it just does it when you train your voice? Does it do a good job with that?
I haven't played around much with it. I honestly need a better mic at home, but you can. There was another tool I was going to use called Hedra. I was originally planning on presenting that to you guys. Hedra Labs is maybe $10 a month. You can make a dozen or so videos. It's Hedra Labs. And you can just put in an audio clip along with the image, and it'll do the same thing and try to lip sync it. So you can give it like a clip of a song that you generate and tell it to make you dance, and it'll try to match your dance to the beats of it. Hedra, Hedra. Honestly, that was one of the tools I talked about dropping. A month ago, I was planning on using it. This new feature in 11 Labs came out since I learned I was doing the Symposium, and so I'm like, well, I'll just use that to show how quickly it changes, because now this is just wrapped into my $5 a month. I refer to my AI tools as my employees, so I'll regularly tell people, hey, I fired Claude the other day and I hired this one. So 11 Labs, I'm using the $5 a month starter account. From that on up, commercial use is allowed. You know, $5 a month, and all of a sudden you can use whatever audio you put out for your business, no problem. If you're really trying to do like an audiobook, you might get up to a couple $100 if you're trying to do it all in 1 month. But just think about what that means. For $200, you could narrate your entire book in exactly the voice that you want, without working with the person that you might have creative differences with. You get complete say rather than the person. All right, Suno is another one I wanted to spend more time on, like Midjourney. I think a few of you have used Suno before. Is that right? Yes. Nobody else? Okay, perfect. I listen to more music I generate on Suno than I do music from human authors now. So I was joking around. I actually have a really old car that still has a CD player in it. I listen to burned AI music on CDs in my car. But what it means is every day, whatever music I wake up wanting to listen to, I can generate music in that style. And so all of the music today was generated in it. And I just want to show that now, like, give me punk. All right. What's another style?
Disco.
Reggae. Reggae. Disco. Yeah.
That's the Explore page.
Yeah. Suno is just like Suno's just like Midjourney, where the customizations where you get the real strength. Once you start finding styles that you like, you can make personas, inspirations. You can start locking in your own basically virtual artist that you can reference for each song that you make. Right now I have no lyrics, so whatever it makes will be instrumental. You're right, you got ska. Yeah. 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 And so we can go in here and let's say,
Can you do reggae in a minor key?
yeah, so we're going to try to exclude trumpets. What's that?
Yeah.
Sometimes. So with the different models, I've had luck with putting in like a D minor as one of the prompts and getting it to stick to a certain chord. Let's see. And we'll actually try sad reggae. And yeah.
Your camp's been flagged.
Yeah. Okay, so it did our ska, but no trumpets now, since we excluded trumpets. Anything you can imagine, basically. So I have one of the top tiers. It's $30 a month. But I've generated literally 500 songs in a month and not run out of tokens at that amount.
So how long are these snippets that it generates based on your?
So it'll generate up to a 5-minute song now. A lot of times it's based on what you put in. So it'll try to fit, if you give it lyrics, it'll try to fit all the lyrics into one song, and it'll do the length based on that.
So it'll do section, breakbeat, and then the end.
Oh yeah. And
it
what's
also has like an editor with
Yep.
films and all that sort of stuff too. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
So we're going to open it in Studio now. It's a new alpha version. You can actually break down every individual track from a song into the individual parts now. You can choose sections of it to edit and regenerate. You can prompt those differently. It's crazy. It does have a lyric writer. I'm not going to use it live because they have one that will write not safe for work stuff, but it's only if you prompt it. So one thing I love doing is using take old poetry or other public domain literature. Like I did a whole series of heavy metal Rudyard Kipling poems. You know, it's just stuff like that. We're not going to go into the editing because this gets kind of in-depth. You can lose, and I do lose hours some nights just playing around making the perfect song for myself. But something else you can do, talking about writing the lyrics, is go into the free version of GPT and you can customize the instructions, and I'll use that as a songwriter for me. So give it enough instructions. I'll just tell it, I want a song about playing basketball on Tuesdays, and it'll give me a decent start. And then I'll add on, hey, reference, Maroon 5's writing style, stuff like that, and it'll kind of change the beats of it. And then you can take that into Suno, use its AI, and customize further from there.
So David, one thing, and I'm guessing there's probably some copyright issues with this, but could you bring in real music and tell it to generate things that are like that?
Not really.
Okay.
So you can give audio clips. Suno will detect if something sounds too much like a copyrighted song. It's not perfect, but it will just straight up not give you a song if it sounds too much like something else. If you put in existing current lyrics to songs, even some stuff like House of the Rising Sun that's been written by 100 people, it'll often refuse to generate that for you. So it is careful. And for our presentation, once you use Pro and Premiere, you have commercial use of it. If you go through everything, you can copyright your music through Suno. And the only thing that can't be monetized is the free version. Just one little tip on that. As soon as you put your music online, if you haven't copyrighted and gone through certain protections, basically people can grab it, do what they want with it. I'm not going to give a full lesson on that, but it's worth doing research if you're trying to make money off of music you make. But this means using it like I am for this presentation. Suno's totally good with it. You want to make your own music for YouTube videos, training videos, anything, you have full commercial rights to it. You slap your company copyright, that's fully legal on it. Let's see. I'm going to skip to the bonus section I wasn't going to do and cover ChatGPT. So these are the tips that I see most people not doing. Here's the standard prices. Everybody's heard of ChatGPT, knows what it can be used for. I'm going to show you guys, I made a free account. This is the completely free version, doesn't cost anything. These are things that you can do in that. The very first thing I like to do is go in to personalization, scroll down to the bottom, and turn on reference saved memories. This also has reference chat history like Claude does. You can turn that on or off. But the key one we want to look at is memories. Because what I'm going to do is, I already did this to save time, and I'll zoom in. I like to tell it first thing, remember that I prefer objective information rather than subjective feelings. Like when I use an AI tool to help me, I want it to use its data set, like what it can actually find information-wise, not what the latest news article is saying I should think about something, or not what public opinion is. And you'll see it's very helpful. It can say, it can do that once it's enabled, because I forgot to do that. So after I turned it on, you'll notice sometimes it'll say that it's doing it. But what you really want to look for is for this little pop-up saying updated saved memory. So if you tell it save something as a permanent memory and you see this, what you will then get, yeah, you'll see once you go into your saved memories, it'll start popping up in here. And now every single time you interact with ChatGPT, it'll reference these saved memories about how you like to interact with it. So a few others that I like to put in. You can try. Sometimes it'll listen to you, sometimes it won't. Honestly, I like AI formatting. It's easier for me to read, but I do, search all, replace all for EM dashes and all that, just so it doesn't look like that. Another memory I suggest giving your AI is that you don't want it head patting you. It understands that phrase really well. I like to tell it not to automatically agree or disagree with anything that I say, but to actually look at its data and reason and give me a response based off of that. AI likes to agree with the tone that you're using, and sometimes I found that this actually helps it not just yes, yes, yes to everything that I say. I also usually add in statements about being as concise as possible. The current public models, Gemini, Claude, GPT, the way they were trained rewarded it giving longer responses. So it defaults within its training to trying to fill up a response window for you. I don't want that. Like, I don't want it just to add in extra info that I didn't ask for. So sometimes adding in a memory about being as concise as possible and just following your instructions helps it actually tone down the responses. One other feature that's available to you is called projects. You can just go where it says projects, click new project, and inside here, you get another section for adding in custom instructions. And this will teach the project every time you open up a chat there what you want that chat to do. And there were my AI Symposium notes for everybody to see for a second. And So just going over it quickly, I told it what kind of engineer I wanted it to be, that it was a prompt engineer to write prompts for me. Another way I'm lazy is I like to give a couple lines and get a good prompt out of it. I don't want to take 15 minutes writing the perfect prompt for myself. So to accomplish that, I did a search for OpenAI's GPT-5 prompting guide. They give you the instructions on how best to prompt their model. So I copied their own document and uploaded it to the GPT project, so now it can reference its own instructions on the best way to be prompted. So in this prompt project, I tell it, reference your own guide, infer what I'm asking for, and rewrite the prompt for me. And so, you can see I also gave it instructions to where if it couldn't understand what I was asking, they would ask me to clarify. So if I just tell it, make stuff good, yeah. Yeah. But if I ask for something like research recent, if it'll pop up, find the most recent peer-reviewed papers on machine learning applied to robotics. You'll notice even with my instructions, sometimes it'll just follow those. It won't write the prompt for me. But you can correct it. Say, why don't you create a prompt first to do this following your instructions? Yeah. And it then gave me a, well, this is a bad example. So this is a way of showing that it doesn't always do what you want, but you play around a little bit.
One interesting use case I've seen for this
Mhm.
was they did a podcast because it has the voice thing
Mhm.
over there that you can talk with it. You can also set it to have a particular type of voice.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was live action, right back and forth. They were asking questions and the person was answering them. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So what's something that you guys would want to prompt, but you don't want to think how to write out the full prompt? Like, what's...
I wanted to write a communication conveying that we postponed an event. It needs, yeah.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes, sir.
Also, have it ask you 5 questions to make this the best prompt possible.
Yes. For the sake of time, because we're getting short, ask 2 questions to help make this best prompt possible. What is your audience and channel?
Internal team email.
Internal team email. And what goals matter most? Legal compliance?
Tone formality.
Okay.
And TBD. I do not have a date.
Cool. Yeah. So what I like is if you follow the rules for prompting an AI, you will get a lot better responses from that AI. I don't like taking the time to write out the full prompt myself, especially when once you set up a little assistant, now we have a full, properly formatted prompt. Can just go into a new chat, paste that, and let it work rather than us just saying what we did.
I have a much more detailed prompt than what I actually used
Yeah.
in real life.
Yeah. And I use that with every AI. So in Claude, I have one that's set up that works off of Claude's instructions from Anthropic, and Gemini, I have one using Google's, and OpenAI, I use theirs. It just makes life so much easier. Use the AI to prompt the AI. But let's see. one question I also got earlier in the week was, is there any way if you're using an AI to export your data? And in ChatGPT, if you go under data controls and choose export, you can export in a text file every chat and every prompt you've ever given, and it'll be emailed to you with a link that lasts for 24 hours. Claude has that as well. Gemini offers it through Google, what was that called? Google Takeout. So normally there's a way to find to get all of your data out of a model. But I hope this helped you guys in some ways. Any other closing questions? Yeah.
Maybe on topic on this, but for your day job.
Yes.
I'm guessing you're going to be asked to meet agents and change when we come back, so we spend 3 days here.
Yeah.
You said primary job is to AI adoption. What
Yes.
are the top like quick things to get people hungry and want to learn this? Because I think this using some of the fun stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm going to steal something from, so I won't put it on a chart, so I think it'll be okay to say. MATLAB did an AI presentation a few months ago where they nailed it, and they showed the standard curve everybody goes through with AI usage. So everybody will have an aha moment where they're like, oh my gosh, AI can do this, and they get so excited, and then they use it a little more and it hits rock bottom again when they realize the limitations it has. But if you keep using it and learning what it can really use, then it climbs back up to that aha moment again once you learn what you can really use it for and what the limitations are and you have confidence. One of my main goals is have that aha moment no matter what it takes. Like, even if these don't apply, if you have somebody at your work that loves music, get them using Suno. Like, you just have to get plugged into one tool, and usually the way you use one will transfer to the others. So in some way, you'll just get more comfortable with it. So if they like images, get them in Midjourney. You know, it costs your company, what, $20, $30 a month for each of these tools. Like, just get people using them. And that's, to me, that's been the easiest way. Real quick, because I know we're out of time, almost.
You get 5 minutes.
Oh. Oh, yeah, not 4:20.
It's really weird times, so
Yeah. Oh, perfect. The other one I recommend is, that all threw me off because I was about to say goodbye. So let me remember where I was. So get them excited. Oh, find out what people hate doing. You don't want to, people get nervous that AI is going to take their job, but find the things that they bang their head against their desk on. So don't take the things that they're good at and they love doing, but look for what holds them up for an hour or two each day. And if you can save somebody an hour of aggravating work and give them that hour to do on the stuff they actually care about and they're good about, that's a win for everybody. So go one-on-one and like, hey, what are your pain points in your job? And start fixing those first. So, anything else?
You did a great job.
Oh, thank you.